Today's a special day for me personally, and I hope it will be for you. Not only if you're a guitar player, but if you're anybody who wants to hear about an amazing journey from an amazing person in life, then today's really going to be a special surprise, and I'm not saying that lightly. Today I'm going to introduce you to one of my childhood heroes who is still a hero in my mind and in my heart and will always be. He changed my life with his music, with his playing, with his perseverance, his personality, his successes in life. He is a guy who walked his own road. He has had the opportunity to join many major bands, but never ever did it. He is a family man. He's an entrepreneur. He's a businessman. He is a father. Not a grandfather yet, as far as I know, but maybe. He is truly an example of what a friend is. I mean, we have had our ups and downs. We've played in bands. We've had arguments. We fought like brothers. We even sued each other. And we are closer friends today than we have ever been. And it is truly my pleasure and my honor to have the one, the only living legend, Rock Feinstein, with us today on our show. Rock, welcome. It's a big deal to have you here today.
Joey, you're going to make me cry in a minute.
Cry.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, that's good. A lot of people might not say the same thing. So the first time I actually met you, like it was a big deal. I drove down to your place, and Denny, our mutual friend, drove me down there, right?
Yeah.
We had to drive through like this wooded area, and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, you only see this in movies. Where the hell are we going? And lo and behold, after driving on this teeny little dirt road all the way through these woods, there's this log cabin in the middle, literally in the middle of nowhere, but also up on a mountain. And I was fascinated.
It was a time in my life when I just felt I needed to be more free than I normally was. But, living off the grid in a cabin, no electricity, no real running water, no telephone. We didn't have to worry about that. It was a way of life that I just felt that I needed at the time. I was driving an old truck around, I remember that time, and I even took the radio out of the truck because I just basically wanted to isolate myself from a lot of the world.
I think a lot more bands would be together today if they actually took time off from each other, in the sense that if you're touring and you're working and there's that closeness and you don't get a chance to breathe a little bit on your own, you end up getting this compact situation where you just don't feel like you're breathing. You feel like you're getting claustrophobia.
People from the outside, they don't realize what it's like to be in a band and be on the road. There is a lot of pressure involved in the traveling, in the performing, and being with the people that you're with on the road. They become, your family that's on the road. So when you come back to the real world after being on the road, it's sometimes very difficult to adapt to what's going on because you're living a different life, basically. That's what happens to a lot of people, and I think that's what the cause of a lot of alcoholism and drug use is from being on the road, because it's kind of like an unrealistic type of life. People that come to these shows, a lot of them don't realize what it involves to actually put a band there on the stage. There's hours and hours of preparation, there's rehearsals, there's transportation, there's all kinds of logistical things that have to go on to put that band on that stage to play for an hour. The pressure of all that, puts you in a situation where, for me, I just felt I needed to get away from it for a while. I needed to clear my head and just rethink things a little bit. I started when I was 7 years old playing trumpet. And I think I played trumpet because I knew Ronnie played trumpet. And, we idolized Ronnie because he was the kid in town that had the best band. He was doing it. And we all wanted to do the same thing he was doing. So I played trumpet at the age of 7. When I got to be a teenage, 12 or 13 years old, I wanted to play in a rock band. The Beatles were coming out. And Ronnie's band was out there playing. They were the top band in the area.
That was Ronnie Dio and the Prophets.
That was Ronnie Dio and the Prophets.
Yeah.
I had my parents rent me a set of drums and put them in the garage, and I figured I'm going to be a drummer now. And, never took any lessons or anything on it, but I played drums, and then we formed a band, and my parents' house became like the band house. We rehearsed there, the living room, the garage, the basement. The guys would come in at all hours of the night and hang around, play cards, And I basically would say, when you guys leave, make sure you lock the door. I'm going to bed, That was my first experience of being in a band. And I had, at the time, sat in with Ronnie's band on drums. There was a couple of occasions where Gary couldn't do it or he was out of town. And so Ronnie knew I was a drummer, and being a family member, there was always that association with Ronnie as a family member. He said, "Oh, by the way," he said, you know how to play guitar, don't you?" And I only knew like 3 chords on the guitar, and that was because my
That's
friend.
all you need.
That was, and all the songs I write today are the same 3 chords.
Join the club.
I said, "Yeah, I can play guitar. Why?" He said, "Well, it would be nice if you wanted to come in as a rhythm guitar player. That would be great." And I said, "I'd love to." And he goes, on another note, he said, "Gary, the drummer, is getting called for his draft physical. If he passes his physical and gets drafted into the Army, we're going to need a drummer and a rhythm guitar player. So at that point, you'll have your choice." And I was hoping Gary would stay because I really wanted to play guitar. I really wanted to come in as a guitarist. I could be more creative.
And be more cool.
Be more cool. Plus, we were the right height. We looked good on stage.
Right, for sure.
But anyways, Gary failed his physical. I came in as the rhythm guitar player. And of course, back then it was, you played 4 sets. In bar.
Oh, yeah.
You played four different sets. So you're playing a lot of songs, all cover songs. When it got to I could play all 4 sets, then Dick was gone, and I was the rhythm guitar player.
About an hour-long set in those days?
Yeah, like 40 minutes, 45
minutes.
It was like 40 on, 20 off, 40 on, 20 off. Started at 9, you ended at 2.
Yes.
Well, we did that for a while, and we were in Connecticut for a week playing this bar and decided that we were going to drive home the last night. And we had all of the equipment was in a van. We all rode in a van. And a drunk driver ran into us on the way home that night. And, of course, we all got seriously injured. The lead guitar player was killed in the accident. I had a broken ankle. I had a cut here. Ronnie was in the front seat. It hit the windshield, and Ronnie his whole scalp was torn back. I mean, he had over 100 stitches in his head, from here all the way around. He woke up and what the hell happened? We didn't really know. I didn't know because I was in shock. And we found out that Nikki had died, and that was a very emotional thing for us.